What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219. Stand up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Tretch in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hello. We are back again with, guess what? Relationship Roundtable. But before we get started, the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. Now that we got that out the way, we are going to take a minute to bring on my brother here. Let's bring on K-Mac. What's happening, Kevin?
Nothing much. Oh, let me get my green screen back on. Hey, how you doing? How was your weekend?
My weekend was awesome, Kevin. It was awesome. I have my son here from Virginia and my grandbabies. I get to see them once, twice a year. So I'm just elated to have them here.
Well, I know that feeling. I'm going to see my great grandson this weekend. So I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Well, congratulations again. I know how wonderful that feels.
All right.
And you're going to fall in love all over again.
Hey, my goal is to spoil this little man rotten. He'll have a football in his hand in about 30 days.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know what we're talking about today, right?
Yes.
Yes, we are talking about relationships, and we go from one end of the spectrum to the next. And I just want to put this out here, you guys. We speak on relationships, but we speak on our experiences. My experience may not be your experience.
True that.
Kevin's experience may not be my experience. However, we want to put out information that maybe you can use. Maybe there's something that you might be an aha moment. So we're not experts, but we are experts in what we've experienced. And you know who's coming on next? My sister.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey, Gina.
how you doing, Marcy?
I am great. How are you guys?
We are great as well.
Good.
We're just taking a moment to talk about I'm sure Kevin will be back. He just jumped off for a minute. But you know what? We're going to take today. Relationships is something that we're going to talk about today. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get to the nitty gritty. We're going to get to the meat of some of this stuff, you know?
Okay, let's do it.
People have a lot of questions about relationships. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we're able to answer those questions based on what we went through. So we're definitely going to be here to talk about this on our roundtable. We want you as viewers and listeners to chime in. We love you guys. We so appreciate you guys for coming out, sharing your time with us. You could be anywhere, but you choose to be here with the Dope Living TV family, and we truly appreciate it.
True that.
Now we're going to bring on our next family member, Mo B.
I can't hear. I'm going to have to log off and come back out.
All right, Mo B, do what you got to do. So you know what? We're going to get started. We're going to get started with our round table. And we're going to talk about some things that some people probably thought about and probably are looking for answers for. And maybe we can give you some of those answers right here today. My first question. This is a question, and it's so funny because this is a question that I asked my son because he's here from Virginia, and I wanted to get his point of view.
Okay.
And, you know, it started a debate in my own home.
All right, here we go.
So I want to ask you guys, is height a deal breaker when you're looking for a mate? Does it matter if they're shorter than you or way taller than you? You got to get on a step stool to get a kiss. Does it matter to you?
For me, I prefer my guy to be taller than me. I'm short. So I prefer, you know,
So,
get short.
so you don't have a choice.
Well, there's some short guys out there.
There really are.
I do prefer my guy to be taller.
How much taller? Do you mind if you have to stand up on your tippy toes to get a hug? Or, he could pick you up like you're a baby in a bonnet.
Whoa.
That look.
Taller. I'm like 5'4.5", so hopefully 5'8" and up. I've dated a lot of really tall guys, 6 feet and up. So
okay. Well, Ashley Wright says kinda, but Brandy, it's my time, said at first height was a big deal breaker for me. Then the relationship I got in changed that because he's clearly close to my height, but have been the best relationship I've been in this far.
Okay.
My daughter told me men with height create problems. She might be right. And she's laughing about that. But you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I have never dated a guy shorter than me. That is a deal breaker for me. I am 5'8". I don't want my guy sitting in my lap like my little son.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Hey, baby, how you doing down there?
Third time a charm.
There we go, Moby. There we go.
Okay. No, actually, I had a new program I was trying, and I still don't know if it works, but it allows me to do sound effects and stuff like that. And I was trying to log on with it.
Okay.
Well, we got
you're
you now.
here now, so you can chime in on this relationship topic.
What's going on?
So Moby, do you like your women tall or short?
It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter. So you can date a woman that's taller than you?
Sure, I have.
Whoa.
Kevin, you didn't answer that.
I was waiting for backup. I was waiting for Moby.
I think he was trying to skirt the issue. Look.
Look. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to echo Moby. But if I have my choices, because I like the U.S. gymnastics, but they've got to be a little older. But I also like the WNBA. I love a tall woman. All right, I love it.
Wait a minute, hold on.
The heck is he going with that? Okay,
roll it back. Roll that back.
I have to be honest. I love women all together, but I love intelligent women.
You love what?
I love intelligent women. I am turned on by
a brain.
This here.
Yeah.
But not emasculating women.
It wouldn't matter if she was 4 feet, 5 feet. If she's intelligent, you're all for it.
If she's 4 feet, then it just means I don't have to buy her a real car. I can buy her one of those little remote controls.
The little clown cars.
Hold up. Let me pump my brakes on that. I am not going 4 foot. That is too short.
Well, see, I can't complain. My mother's 4'11".
Oh.
All right, and my father's 5'4". So I'm the tallest in my family. I know.
I was just gonna say you look tall.
I'm
How tall are you, Kevin?
I'm 5'11".
Hey, Brand.
Oh. You are tall.
So I know my father was in the military, so I know my mother's got a secret. I tell my mother all the time, come on, you can tell me now.
Well, like I said, I don't know, 4
Mr.
foot.
Postman.
That that a little bit too short.
Wow. Well,
I mean,
I'm gonna.
look, I slow danced with a chick that was like 4'6" or 4. She was tiny. I mean, and my back was hurting.
Was she potty trained?
That's funny.
Hey, Mo,
Oh
was she potty
Here
trained?
you go, Byron.
Haha, very
Oh,
funny.
Byron said folks are the same height when they land down.
That's
Oh
what
my
I'm talking
God.
about, with the exception of the short.
I am so
Byron.
happy Byron tuned in.
Byron, you have to get out of the bed at some point. And you have to you have to get out of the bed at some point. I'm standing on what I said. I am in no pun intended.
Well,
but I
believe it or
am
not,
standing on
actually,
what I said.
if she's that short, she's standing on something too.
Greg says he likes climbing
climbing
trees.
Hey.
But you know what, Gina? I'm in agreement with you because think about it. You know, you're out and you got your man, and he like 2'6", and you gone, and they're like, "Oh, your son's so cute."
That is hilarious to me. When I see women taller than them, it's a hilarious scene to me.
When you know what, when they're much taller, if they're like about neck and neck or just an inch or two, that's a little bit different. But I've seen some whereas the woman is so much taller,
like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart and his.
Yeah, like
he pretty much comes up to her chest, right up to her chest.
He's hitting her shoulder.
I'm not intimidated by a tall woman.
I am not neither. I think it's fun. You know, back when I was dating, I dated a girl when she was taller than me. Now my wife, on the other hand, she told me something today when I brought this question up. When I looked at the little thing.
I will say,
wait, Kevin, wait a minute. What were you saying, Maurice?
And she said she couldn't date nobody shorter than her or short at her. She
go.
said, I can't do it.
There
she was
you
like,
go.
No, you were the limit. I was the limit.
Have...
I'm almost a foot taller than her. So she's 5 feet.
Now I will tell you an issue that I have: feet.
Feet?
If they look like they need to hook onto the edge of a branch,
where they look like they climbing trees for real.
If the toenails can turn
a screw, she got claw.
What that got to do with height?
I just said my thing is feet.
He like his calves.
His feet.
I dated one chick like they had messed up. And we were in the bed, and she scratched me on my freaking neck, and I looked down. I was like, "Ah!"
What with her feet?
With her feet? I mean, her feet. She had
nails.
Wait.
Nails
his neck. Wait. Him on his neck.
Wait a minute.
Nails was
about that too.
Nails.
She scratched you on your neck with her feet.
No, my knees.
Laying in bed.
My knees.
Your knees?
My knees, my calves. Yeah. She scratched me, and I looked down. I'm like, God.
Oh, I thought he said on his neck with her. I'm like, what were y'all doing?
Gina, we like this.
Wait
a
minute, Gina, Marcel, don't pretend like you don't know what he's doing.
I want him to tell us.
We just want a clarification.
It was nothing like that, y'all. All right. No.
Craig said these guys are here like the National Geographic.
She got claw.
Ashley said, and this is to Maurice, you still smashed, I bet. He wiped that blood off that.
Wait. Feet was up like this. They was out the way.
Byron says, jacked up feet women can catch your fish. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well,
she part eagle too. She just swooped down and catch a fish with her feet.
Well, we went from being taller or shorter to feet to neck
to claws
to trees. So I don't know what the next question is.
I'm scared to hear it now.
So the next question I have for you guys, and you're going to have to think about this because you may have had this in your past relationships or current relationships, but you're going to have to think about this one. When do you call your mate's children your children?
Actually,
at what point in that relationship do you start considering and saying, hey, these are my children?
When she turned into my fiance.
So that could be years down the line.
Well, I mean, truthfully, that was a year. and actually they started calling me daddy way before we got married. That's how it was.
Before we go on, let's do this. Let me read Lanita's because it's back to our last question. In my past relationships, most of the guys were at least 5'9", no more than 225 pounds. My man now is 6'4" and 400 pounds. I love him and tippy toe kisses. I know
All right
that's right.
now,
You know
go
what?
ahead.
And you know what? And what I want to say about that is, as we mature and we go through stages as we get older, things are different in what we look for in our mates. Greg said when they go to
No,
sleep.
no, he didn't say nothing, not a thing.
When they go to sleep.
That's when he called them his kids, when they go to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
He's special. He's regular.
But Byron said never. Okay, so let's talk about this because that's very interesting. So Byron said he never calls them his children.
You know, I've been in 2 relationships, one with a guy that had custody of his daughters and one with a guy that had custody of his sons. And it was like, I want to say maybe 6 months or so, like into our relationship, because I had a son. So a lot of the things we did were with the kids and they got in my heart. So they were like my babies. And for both relationships, when we broke up, I was extremely heartbroken, not for the 2 different guys, but because of the children.
The relationship
And
developed
so
with the
close,
kids.
right? And both moms were still alive, but they were just still my babies. And it was so hard. It was so hard for me. Years later, I ran into one of the boys, and I didn't see him. He saw me, and he was like a senior in high school, and he was like, "Mom." And I looked, and I was like in shock. And we were in the store boo-hooing like babies. And we boo-hooed, and we didn't end up, keeping in contact. But it was just like, oh, that's my baby. And I do get attached when it comes to children. I try not to, not unless it's a serious relationship, but I'm the type, I love people. And my thing is, if I'm with you and it's a serious relationship, those that you love are a part of me because they're also a part of you.
Well, Brenda says it's after marriage.
Well, they had gotten used to calling me dad, and by the time we got married, I was daddy anyway.
You were there.
Yeah, I mean, I was taking care of him like it was mine, and I mean, I didn't have no problem with it, at all.
Well, I'm going to speak from experience because we brought a young man into our house that had some complications in his family. He wasn't legally my son, but he grew up with my sons as a brother. And the night when I start tucking him in at night, when I tucked him in with my kids, when we vacationed and when we introduced him, so soon as he, shared bread, went to family reunions, whatever, he was always introduced as my son. So I think I'm going to echo what Marcy said. As soon as the child attaches to your heart, he becomes your family.
Well, Greg says, when I was married, her kids became my kids. And even to this day, years after divorce, they are my kids.
That's understandable. Yeah.
And Brenda says, I still have a very close relationship with my existing kids.
And it's hard. It's really hard to part from them, especially even after divorce, even though you didn't birth those children. You were in that marriage and they were there. They become yours. And irregardless of how the other parent think, because a lot of times you have the baby or daddy mama drama, but still it's about the kids. It's not about the ex and all of that. It's all about the kids and the relationship that you build, you create and build with those children. And it doesn't stop. Your love just doesn't stop because you're no longer with their parent.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, that was
Maurice.
Oh, Maurice, I'm sorry.
Fortunately for me, I haven't had to run into the situation where it was a split up. The ones that are grown now, mine grown and hers grown, they're our kids. They've always been our kids since that time we got married. I mean, technically we don't have. I mean, well, technically, no, we don't have any kids together. Me and Marianne don't. We have ours that we bought into
Together.
the family together, and they're our kids. So.
And you know what? That's such a hard situation because the kids are affected when there's a divorce or a breakup.
Yeah.
My children, and I never called them stepchildren. Anytime someone said, "How many children do you have?" I always said 5. That was 3 from my first marriage, 2 from my late husband's first marriage, and his ex-wife would not bring the kids around us. She didn't want them to be around me. She didn't want them to have a bond with me. And so we didn't really, in 17 years, we didn't really gain a bond until maybe 15 years into us being together. And the kids
Wow.
were much older at that time.
And
But
that was
then
because of the other.
that was because of his
parent.
ex-wife. And
Yeah.
then when he got sick with cancer,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't his request was not for me to tell his kids. And I
That
begged
he
him
had
out.
cancer.
He passed away of stage 4 cancer, and I asked him several times, and he said he didn't want me to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because she kept them away for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand it in the beginning, but then I realized he felt like if I couldn't see them in life, I don't want them to see me in death. And I couldn't understand it.
It's so unfortunate when there's a divorce or there's a separation between a couple and their children involved, and you have that drama because, oh, he didn't want me, things didn't work out, so I don't want you to see your children. And a lot of times it's the children, regardless of their age, young kids, teenagers, adults, who suffer instead of looking at, let me see who this is, who my ex is now married to,
Mm-hmm.
because and that's another person that can love your children and be there for your children.
Absolutely. They
Because if
missed out on
something,
so much.
correct, if something happened to you and they have to go with your ex anyway, you would feel a little bit more comfortable, hopefully. But a lot of times it's just animosity because I'm upset
Exactly.
that we broke up.
Right.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
all relationships just aren't meant to be. Things just don't happen. You can still be friends or not, but allow the children and to be with their other parent, not unless that's a toxic relationship, like there's
Right.
alcoholism or drug addiction or just a toxic relationship. That's understandable.
And
Well,
a lot,
Lanita said, let me read what Lanita has to say. She said, well, my children's siblings call me mama to this day. When asked how many kids I have, I say I birthed 3, but I have about 10.
Woo.
Well, we have a lot of surrogate children. I got about 20 of them. They call us mom,
Mm-hmm.
pops and mom.
And
So.
even, back to my situation, my his kids stayed in contact with me probably maybe 2 years after his death. But then
Okay.
after that, the phone numbers got disconnected. I couldn't reach them, and I haven't spoken with them since.
Wow.
I'm
Oh,
sorry to hear that.
yeah.
So
Wow.
But I
this is
bet you that'd be easy to pick up, and rock
Are they
on
holding
after
resentment against you because their father died of cancer and they never knew?
yes. His daughter, which she's the oldest, she did. It was one particular day when I was trying to make the funeral arrangements. She called me and she just blew up. She just blew
Wow.
up and she started crying and screaming at me and saying it was my fault and that I was the bridge between her and her dad. And it
No.
was very, very hurtful. But
Well,
I still kept the communication open, and
Mhm.
I still talk to them even after that, and I even gave his son, who he always said that his son had nothing to do with it because when he and his ex-wife split up, she was pregnant with his son, and
Mm.
his daughter was 6 years old, so they were very
Mm.
close. And he said that once she became a teenager, he felt like if she didn't do what she could to reach out to him, he was very hurt about it. But he said his son was an innocent party,
Okay.
and he had more of a bond with his son because of it. And I even gave them a piece of something very special that he had. I gave his son a gold citizen watch that he loved and adored, and I gave that piece to him just in memory of his father. And I gave his daughter a piece of his jewelry as well, so that they would have something to remember their father by. And his ex-wife even asked me for their pictures back. The pictures that he had of them, she asked for them. I did not give them to her.
That's
But
catty.
I was like, those were my children. Like, I did as much for them as I did for my children.
Right.
And I wouldn't give them back to her.
Hey, Gina.
No.
I'm going to say, because my father died of lung cancer. And I was upset because I just came back. I was 50 years old, so it was 13 years ago. And the fact that he did not tell anyone in the family that he was dying or he needed help. He decided to get sick, and we had to see him when he was leaving the world. And I was upset. I was mad at him. But, you know, I guess I can understand the kid's position, but I hate the position that you were put in because it wasn't your choice. Because I know you, in your heart, that you want to bring everyone together. And I know from personal experience with one of my children is that, you know, I kept saying, because we had some distance at one time, I said, you know, I didn't want that person to come back in my life when I was leaving this world. But you know something, when I decided to leave this world, I'm going to leave the world loving no matter what, because I found grace within my mother. And I'm hoping that my children find grace within you. And I'm hoping your children from him are listening to this and they understand the position you were put in, and you're honoring his wishes. It wasn't on your heart to do that. And I hope they come back in and have a sit down and says, you know something, you were good to my dad, and we're going to love you because of that.
Yeah. That was, dude, I'm going to ask you one question. Are you and Gary? Why is it light?
He's like, why is it light outside?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Okay, but okay. On that note, I'm next door to her, Maryville, and it's dark as crap over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where you at?
I've seen that before.
You're on the bright side of Gary. We don't know about.
This is what happens when you're a rich black person. You can control what you her son goes down when she
the sun over there. I'm not wealthy, so okay. Yeah. You got the sun.
God. You know what? It is because the lake is right behind my house, and the sun,
reflection,
even when it reflects, like until 9 o'clock at night.
Dang.
Yeah,
because it's dark over here.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, why is it light outside?
Yeah, I just had to add that question. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, it's dark. When I got on here, it was dark. It's light outside.
Yeah. That's what happens, Moby, when you made it. We're just on. We're coming up. Okay?
Okay.
We don't get extended lights and days. And stuff.
Get out of here,
looking out of the holes. Okay. All right. Anyway,
hey, none of us get red shoes.
Red bottom shoes. Red bottom. Okay, so
only way I'm gonna get red bottom shoes, I step on something and kill it.
I got red bottom shoes now.
Back on that note, it is so hard when there's and this is still dealing with relationships, when there's someone that knows that they're going to pass soon, it's a terminal illness, and they ask you not to say anything because like what Gina said, she had to deal with the fallout later. And so it's like, what do you do?
That's why I said it was heavy on her. And that's why I'm hoping if the kids hear this, they don't blame Gina. Gina's got a good heart. And children, I'm telling you, embrace this woman, respect her. She loved her dad. Cut her some slack. It's hard to carry pain around with you every day. It kills your soul. Free yourself and let this love in. She's a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's enough that you're
Definitely
going
agree
through
with
what
that.
you're going through while your loved one is ill, and you're trying to be there for them as well.
Yeah.
And and you're trying to, that stress level is off the chain, and you're trying to keep it together, and you're trying to keep it together for the loved one that knows that they're going to be leaving soon. And then you hearing all of the
Noise.
back in the
Yep.
in the background.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that can be.
Well, let's move into our next question, you guys,
Yes,
because this
ma'am.
question as well deals with children. Since we're on children, let's stay on this subject. If you're in a relationship for 3 to 6 months, think about the time
Okay.
frame now, 3 to 6 months, and the person is raising his children, his or her children. That person passes away. Would you take on the job of raising the children? If there is not another parent that's still living
Okay.
and that other parent is no longer here as well, would you take on that job?
You still
Depends on
have
what he,
the family. You still got the rest of the family. That
depends on
might.
what he left in the will.
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's silly. Well, come on, talking
Explain yourself,
You know
man.
I'm joking. You know
Explain
I'm
yourself,
He's
young man.
joking.
You know
Explain it.
That's a heavy question because again, I talked about this question with Robert, and Robert has a friend who was dating a guy for 8 months, and he was in a car accident. He passed away, and
Uh-huh.
she is raising his children.
Wow.
my hat goes off
That
to her.
yeah. She loved that dude.
Yeah.
8
You know.
months now. 8 months.
But
Yeah.
you know
But
what? I
yeah,
wouldn't see an issue with that.
I'm glad.
Like if the kids have been in if I've been in the kids' life, they were in mine. But my thing would be, you said if the other parent is not alive or around, but where were the rest of the family? Because normally the family would show up, and then like Kevin said, unfortunately, if there
But
was a
what if
will
they
and there was
don't?
money,
What if they don't? What if
I
no
wouldn't have
one
a
should?
problem with it.
Maybe you have family members who don't want to take in kids,
Mhm. I
whether
wouldn't have a problem with
they're
it. I would
related to
ask
them or
Bernie
not.
Mac.
I would not have a problem with it because that's just the type of person that I am. Here are children now who don't have either parent. And if I'm in position to be able to parent them, I'm all for it.
Hey,
I do that with other kids all the time. Working at the
But
school, I
Lady
still have,
Justice
that's
said,
my babies.
yes, love is love, depends on if needed. And
Excuse me.
Greg said, absolutely my
Mhm.
responsibility. And then
Mhm.
Yeah.
let's go back to Lady Justice, but she said, or at least provide support or offer assistance.
Assistance.
Mhm.
And
That's
it
a hard
depends on
decision to make, though.
well, I mean,
Especially. Go ahead, Maurice.
it depends on the family dynamic too, because you got some families that won't let nobody on the outside touch any of their, but they'll talk about them all day long,
Mhm. And
So,
and that's why I said it depends on if the other families members don't step up.
right.
If I knew that there was a lot of toxicity within that family, I would start talking to attorneys to see what I can do to get the kids, because I wouldn't want them, with those people. But of course, the system will try to first put them with blood relatives.
Of course.
And if
I,
needed,
I, I would
I
man.
would fight if I had to.
I would man up. I would take care of the kids.
I mean, yeah, you
It's
can
not.
man up, but if the state has anything to say about it, you can't do nothing.
They're gonna try to put them with blood family normally.
Yeah. First.
Yeah, not unless
You
you
know
got
what?
some stuff on them.
Go ahead, Gina.
I don't know if it depending on where I am in my life. I may, you talking about now. I've been with all of my children out the house since they were 18 years old.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
talking what 20 what my youngest is 30. So all my children left home at the age of 18. And so I've been an empty nester
For a
since
minute.
yeah, for a minute. And so now thinking about, okay, I'm taking in some smaller children. Now my whole lifestyle has to change. My whole life has to be reorganized. I think I would have to think about it. I really do.
I guess you have to think about it like this too. I mean, unfortunately, things happen in adults' lives. If one of your children had children, and they left this planet unexpectedly, would you take that task on?
Well, see, that's different because
That was
I'm
my
sure
life.
everyone is going to step up and say, "Yes, I would take my sons and my children's children." And
So
it wouldn't even
again,
be a thought about it.
going back to trying to get those children from, from that relationship that you were in, that with that guy's relationship that you were in, and then you're trying to get those kids. That's gonna be hard. It's gonna be just that hard. If you think about just what you said, yes, no problem. My grandbaby's coming with me. It's gonna be really hard to get those kids.
That happened to me when my son was murdered. They were 5 and 8. Justin turned 6 the next day after his dad was killed. So I co-parented for years, and I actually, for a lot of the time, had him more than the mom. But we were co-parents, and it was not even a thought. There was no
Yeah, you
like,
didn't even have to think about
should
nothing
I
like
or
that.
what? It was just like an automatic thing, and I would do it again.
So you wouldn't think that would apply to a relationship?
No, I said I would. I told you I would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would
it apply to a 3-month relationship?
I don't know about 3 months.
3 months, I think, because that's not really a relationship. You're
You
still
don't
getting
know
to
nobody
know
yet.
people.
Yeah.
But let's say if I was in a 3-month relationship, but because of my age, it would be grandkids. I'm not dating nobody that's got little kids. Period. I'm not a cougar. But if say 3 months, and then I knew the other parent was not there, and there was no one there for the child, I would just, if I had to, rearrange my life, because I'm not gonna just let that kid get into the system, because I know
Yeah.
what happens. I've worked with an agency dealing with kids in the system. I do not like it. Some homes are good, others are not, and I would not be able to sleep at night knowing that this child is going into the system and there's a possibility of some craziness happening with that child. I would absolutely.
Well, Lady Justice is going back to when I said empty nester. She says, sounds like babysitting time.
Yeah.
No, we're just taking the little Lady Justice because she's a teacher.
Yeah, but believe it or not, when you look at a relationship, most people that are looking for substance in a relationship hold back on introducing their kids. It's normally 30, 60, 90 days before they even realize you're going to keep you around, before they even bring up the topic, let me meet the little kids. So chances are most people would say, I don't have a relationship with the kids. And that answer for most people will be an honest no. Unless
Moby, how long before Marianne met
We
your
met each other. Actually, she had met my kids. She had met my kids probably about 3 months after we were together. But that's after we first met. Now, when we got together, that was a whole nother thing. They had been knowing them for a minute, and they basically started calling her mama. So,
see, my advice for anyone that's got a child and you're bringing someone into your life, introduce them as soon as possible. Give them as much sugar, candy, and everything. Let them be at their worst.
What?
So you can see what
if that person's going to stick around after meeting the worst person for kid,
they're gonna follow you all over the place. They ain't gonna be able to go to work.
No, don't wait 90 days and all of a sudden dress them up in the Sunday best and put them on their nice behavior. Show that male or female what they're getting every single day. If your kid is that person that's going to be lighting a match in between your toes when you're going to sleep, let him do it the first day out.
Between your toes.
You are too funny. You are too funny. That sounds like something Byron would say.
Yes, it does. But
or your sex life just goes down the tube. Yeah,
man, that would be a very interesting. I'm pretty sure everyone outside of it being your own family members would have to really sit down and evaluate that situation. And I'm with Marcy. I would not want to send those children into the system, or they have no place to go.
I agree.
Right, and they've attached to you. Maybe, possibly, they've started getting to know you. So now it's like, oh wait, you've lost your parent, so that can be devastating. And now you can just put,
well,
with anybody.
That's the reason why I'm putting your address in the chat box. So all this wild kids that people want to drop off, they can drop them off at Marcy's house.
Ah,
Yeah, Marcy.
that.
Want some kids?
124.
I can tame a child real quick. I worked at a high school, so I can look. I'm very old school with kids. No,
Do you?
right.
Do,
Be all right.
I'm
It'll
gonna
be
ask
all
this question before we go to the next one. I saw Greg over there. Do y'all believe in capital punishment?
I
Isn't it
don't.
what happened on January 6th?
Oh no. I'm talking about
You know
capital
what?
punishment with kids.
That's cute. Capital punishment.
Negro.
That's real cute.
You're being real regular right now.
real regular. That's a regular.
You know what? I don't, and it's funny because I did my thesis back in high school was on capital punishment,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I really don't feel that man should take on life or death. I don't think it's the place of man to do
No,
that.
he means beating the snot out of a kid.
Oh,
Whoopings. I'm sorry.
oh,
Whoopings. Let me put it like this.
okay.
Do you believe
When you
in
say
whoopings?
capital punishment, my mind is somewhere else.
Yeah,
Okay, I was like, yeah, okay.
No. What they got to do with this conversation?
That's why I
talking-
said January 6th, I believe.
Like Earthquake say, people still up there talking about pop, pop, pop. No, anyway. Anyway, I'm talking about it. Do you believe in giving kids whoopings, even if they're not yours?
Oh
No,
I ain't putting my hands on nobody else's kid.
I'm not touching.
I'm talking about some that you're raising
That I'm raising.
in that relationship. Yeah.
Oh, you mean
You know what?
the other person's kids?
Yeah.
See, that would be a conversation for me.
We done had that conversation. It was
that
like
would be a
confirmed.
conversation
The
where
beatings will begin when I think so. Oh, there's some whoopers gave out, y'all.
See, that would have been a conversation when you're bringing your kids, and if we're combining our two families to one,
Yeah.
we would have to, if we're gonna, let's say getting married or a long-term committed relationship, we would have to sit down and talk. What is our definition of punishment, and how do we discipline so that we can be on one accord?
I mean, we had that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We had the conversation, and both of us believe in, you got to tap that booty every once in a while. And, and the biggest thing that we had is, okay, if you disagreed with the booty, with the whooping, we don't believe in correcting, right there while they're getting the whooping. Wait till after the whooping's over with, or if you get
that's right. Capital punishment means
corporal punishment.
Yeah, it means the chair or the noose or the firing squad,
or
whatever.
gas.
That's what you believe in.
Anyway, like I was saying, we had that conversation, and the first time that I had to give a whooping,
if you're running away from home, don't go to Moby's house.
Okay, so hold on, Kevin. What were you saying, Maurice?
I mean, I had to give a whooping out. The first time I had to give a whooping out to, I call him my son, but my youngest son now. First time I had to get that whooping, that was, man.
You know what? Even with that,
he didn't even think I'd ever touch him, because me and him could sit down and talk for hours,
And
when he was
now,
little.
let me ask you a
And
question.
when I had to give that whooping out, that was hard.
You know
did
what,
Did it hurt you more than it hurt him?
Why you calling it? Yes.
Moby, did it hurt you more than it hurt him?
Did hurt me more than it hurt him, because I'm new daddy. I'm the daddy. So
yeah.
Well, one of the things I believe in,
expect
I
it.
do not believe men should whoop their daughters, because that gives them, growing up, they feel a man should hit them or can hit them. So I don't
never
think
looked at it like that.
fathers, I don't think men should spank their daughters at all.
Oh, they
That's
can beat
just
the
my
crap out
opinion.
of the son, but they
Yeah.
can't spank the
Right.
So it's okay for
Is
the
that fair,
son to be
Gina?
raised that it's
Gina?
okay for a man to hit him.
Look. Greg.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
So let
ahead.
me read the other comment here. This is from Lady Justice. Nobody should hit kids who whoop adults when we mess up. That's a good
You got
point.
the Oscars to answer that
The
question.
law.
Police.
They
That's
shoot
true.
us.
You know what? Here's a very interesting question right here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that was just brought in. So I want to read this question. Would you have an issue if your partner received an expensive gift from someone of the opposite sex or an ex? Would you have a problem with that?
Oh no. I mean, I've never even thought about anything
It
like that.
depends on the gift. If
I don't
if
know,
it,
like
if
it's a
we,
car or
A
something.
car.
if
A
it
house.
if it went from 0 to 60 and 3.2, I have no problem with it.
I'd be like,
You're
come
gonna
on,
drive the
Robert,
crap out of it.
let's ride my new Corvette. Come on,
Hey,
let's enjoy
Okay.
this car.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Expensive gift.
What about from an ex? Would you be okay if it was an ex?
If it went from 0 to 60 and 3.2, I'm okay with it.
So if your wife received a car that went from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds,
A house, something
you'd
expensive.
be okay with it.
Yeah, the house too. Yeah.
Mm.
If it's paid off.
What about
I'm
an
o-
expensive ring, a diamond ring?
Oh, then that's small stuff.
That's personal.
That's stuff. That's personal. She's having an affair. All
Yeah.
right. But if it's an expensive car,
Wait a minute, wait.
if it's an expensive car or a house, it's a family investment.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in
So
agreement on that.
if
one.
What you
something
say? Community
personal-
property. Community property. Yeah. He bought it. We're gonna use it.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
funny. That's funny.
Now, I mean, I've never ran up on. I haven't. I don't know anybody that's ran up on that kind of situation before. So
Well,
Me
Greg
either.
said, my question is, why are they given a gift?
You a gift.
Period. Good question.
Yeah,
Very good
like
question.
like you said, there's an affair.
You don't have to even. You don't even have to answer that question. You know why they're giving a gift. It's thank you for bringing in the groceries.
You know
Wow.
what?
Well,
I'm
this
gonna sit right here.
Byron's comment goes back to the previous question about the children that Mo B brought up, spanking children. He says sometimes an ass whooping is needed.
without a doubt.
And Lady Justice, referring to the same question, being a teacher is challenging because children are being hit at home. They listen because they know they will be punished if not. How are we able to teach the children properly when they're used to command by physical punishment? Let's
Well-
not treat our own how we used to be treated.
Well, that was the whole point. If you screwed up in school and they had to write a note to the mama to get home, you were gonna get 2 more beatings when you got to the house. Not to mention, we got raised in school. If you screwed up, there was pain involved. You got a paddling in front of everybody. You didn't get a paddling just, in the principal's office. You got a paddling in front of everybody. And guess what? You remember that paddling, and bad is bad. It don't matter if you give them a whooping, if you don't give a whoop. They bad. I'm sorry. Ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do about that when they get grown.
Well, Greg's comment goes back to what we were talking about, the gift from an ex or someone giving your significant other an expensive gift. He said, so Kevin, if an ex gives an expensive pair of drawers, Victoria's Secret. Oh my God. I'm saying Victoria's Secrets.
Hey, great.
You know I can't stand him. He's so regular right now.
And then Byron said, Kevin's a pimp.
No,
So he get part of it anyway, right?
Kevin's honest because I know the difference between an asset and a liability.
We got Greg and we have Byron both in the peanut gallery.
No,
And
Moby.
Lady Justice said, no, Moby.
Look, sis, we've got to do something about
Pimp
this
with a
crap
lip.
that's going on with these kids right now. What that?
With a lip.
These kids, I mean, ain't nobody correcting them. There's no consequences of their actions right now. So what do? You keep
But
letting
you
them
know what? For me, because I was raised a little different.
Yeah.
We were talked to, and we were
talked to too.
And for my sister and I, it was like a look. So I was like that with my son and my 2 grandchildren as well. And I've threatened some kids over the years, but after threatening them and then like taking a step or like looking like, okay, play with me if you want to, I didn't have any issues with them. But like little Lady Justice says, you don't know what some children, like what she's a teacher, and you don't always know. And working with at-risk youth with the social service agency, you never know what kids are going through. Because one little boy, I kind of raised my voice a little bit. I'm like, hey, and he dropped to the ground in a fetal position.
Wow.
And I was like, that just threw me. And I went and got someone. I'm like, I don't understand that. And they were like, that means that this is a child. They do that because he'd been molested and raped. And they go into a fetal position. So that's something, even if it's your children, we still have to, I know you're going to do what you want in your household. We have to, and we laugh and we joke about, beat the kid, do this, da, 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 da. But we really have to kind of be careful out here with the kids. Like Gina said, how she feels about a father or a man whipping a daughter. We don't know what that's going to do to her. Well, my daddy used to beat me, so it means nothing if my man later on, because I did know a young lady who stated that because she used to get whippings all the time from her dad, that if her man does not beat her, he does not love her. Wow. And this was in her adulthood. So we laugh, joke about these things, but these are some things we really need to think about.
Yeah, but
later.
And I agree with you, Marcy, because and the thing about this is like you have to justify why you're putting your hands on your child. What did your child do that was so egregious that it deserves a beat down? And that's technically what it is. And then the other thing we have to realize, the way we grew up, we were a lot tougher than our kids now. Our kids are fragile right now. I mean, they break down if you take their cell phones. But you always got to ask yourself, how do I justify laying my hands on a child, and what damage am I going to do to them going forward if I put my hands on my child? And if you feel that bad afterwards, and my son will tell you this, it was one time he did something that was so bad, and he talked back and jumped up in my face, and I told him that I was going to break every bone in his body, and he turned around and looked at me with a stone face. He goes, and so how is that going to make you feel?
Well,
and it took all the mad away from me. It's like, I just got to get out of the house. I'm going to kill you because now you're making me think about it.
Right.
Let's read these comments here. Lady Justice said, "Miss you, Greg Ray." Then we have
who wants to spanking?
We have Nita. I had conversations with my children about school etiquette and what the consequences would be for not following the rules. Also, because not every parent has that. And then responding to Lady Justice, Greg says, "Oh, thank you, little Lady Justice." Oh,
whatever.
Then we have also a comment from Lady Justice that says, "Talk to them, have that look, punishment, take things away, explain why they are in trouble, reward for good behavior, sit out and miss good things for bad behavior." So those are different ways that she's saying you can punish your kids instead of spanking.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, my son Theo said the worst thing I ever said to him, because he did something. I said I was disappointed in him. He said that broke his heart.
And you know what? A lot of times it's just when you like raise your voice at a child, or and let them know that you're disappointed. That right there knocks them out right there. Just like, oh my God, that hurts. A little bit versus having to put your hands on them physically, because to me, we're out here fighting the world as it is, let alone to be having to be fought with in the house. Now, I do know that sometimes you do have some children that are just straight up stubborn, hard-headed. You might have to like grab them by the chest and hold them up against the wall or something. I don't know, but I haven't run into that, but I've heard of because I'm one, you don't talk back to me. Don't even grunt or make a noise, you know.
Don't look
Don't look at me crazy.
My whole thing is I demand respect because I am the daddy. And they're going to respect me and I respect them back. But guess what? The real world is this. If you do something stupid, you're going to end up not me taking care of you, but the state taking care of you. And
you don't have to do anything stupid. You have to show up for the state to do that.
Well, I'm just saying if the kids do something stupid.
I agree with you, Mo.
And well, let's read what Brenda said real quick. Brenda said, my daughter is 40 and she only got a spanking one time.
Oh,
yes.
And she also said, so she remembered that one.
Come on now. That one. More than enough, she said.
Well, again, I'm talking about things that are very serious in our culture. I mean, back in the day, we got whooped. We got a bunch whooped.
Kids do have to learn how to respect authority.
But they got to learn how to respect authority. I mean, you got these kids running in schools right now, beating up on teachers.
Yeah.
You know what kind of crap is that? They don't have no yield signs or nothing. Run around here with guns. You do that crap back in the day, you would have got kicked out of school so quick it wasn't even funny, or ended up in detention. You know what I mean? And got a paddling.
They're mimicking their households. One young lady at the high school was in detention,
Well,
and I asked
guess
her
what? They don't belong in school if they're doing all that.
And I said, what did you get suspended for? Oh, I cussed my teacher out.
Yeah.
I said, excuse me? She said, I cussed my teacher out. I said, baby, if you have a problem with an adult here, tell your parents and let them handle it. You don't curse out and disrespect adults. Oh, no, because I can handle it. I can handle it. And I had to threaten her. And she kind of straightened up and she was like, she looked at me and I had to pull her to the side and, and I was like, you don't do that. And she's like, well, my parents wouldn't mind. And see, that's the problem. You can handle that. You grown. They want their children to be grown until they buck them. And you can't have it both ways. You can't buck me and come at me and disrespect me, but it's okay to do it when you're, at school and then, that's where you're gonna end up in prison.
That's what I mean. That's
but
exactly what I mean.
Really, really irks me is when mothers call their children out of their name, or even fathers, parents.
Yeah. I got a problem with that.
They already have to face bullying and fighting at school and all the different things in the world, and they have to face it at home too. That should be their sanctuary. Where they can come home and not have to deal with that. And I've never, ever in my children's lives ever called them out their name.
Yeah.
Because
call them stupid and stuff like that. That's
the world is already.
That makes me sick. Yeah.
Because that starts getting into their mind. Well, my mom said I'm stupid. I'm gonna be stupid all my life.
Yeah.
Well, my mama was on welfare. My grandmama was on welfare. My great grandmama and all my aunts and my uncles all on welfare. So they said, look, that's just how we're gonna be. So we just gonna be on welfare.
No.
Or we just gonna all be, gangbangers, or we just all gonna sell drugs. You might as well go ahead and sell drugs, because that's where the money is. That's and when you keep on plugging these things into some kids,
that's what they believe. And Robert says, my honey bunch, plenty much love, guys. Thank you, Robert. Then we have Brenda who says, we had to go and get the switch. That's right, Brenda.
I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there.
That's right. And then also Byron says, it's interesting that people don't want their kids to get spankings. But when those kids grow up and get freaky, they want to get spanked. Stupid. He is stupid.
My man.
Well, let me ask this next question because, this is really cultivating a lot of responses. These questions are some very, very good questions. If your partner tells you they're used to someone taking care of them, would you date them? If right off the bat,
like you want to pimp to me.
Would you date them?
I will tell. I'll answer that first. I know within the first 15 minutes of having a conversation with someone, if I want to spend 2 more days with you, that conversation would have saved me 12 minutes.
And where did you get that from, Kevin?
It's called dating with a full deck. just came out. It's available on Amazon.com. Anywhere the book can be available. It's 54 cards. 2 of them allow you to avoid a question. 2 of you allows you. 2 jokers allow you to press the question. But that is one of those questions.
Well, you know what? Going back to our previous question, I want to get this in for Brenda. Brenda said it's a generational curse, and I truly believe that as
We got to
well.
break the chain.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And then Greg said,
Greg.
"Damn."
You gotta say that in your
damn.
Florida Evans voice.
Damn.
Now, Gina,
But let me finish the comments real quick. To our current question, Brenda said no. If somebody told her up front, she's not dating them. So did Byron. Byron said no, he would not date them. And then Lanita, this is going back to our previous question. Lanita says it took my kids to a relative's house, and when I picked them up, they said we don't want to go back. They called their children MFs, stupid, etc. We are not used to that. I don't blame you. I wouldn't keep my kids in an environment like that either.
No.
Yeah.
And then
that to me would have been an Oscar moment if someone mistreated my kids.
Robert
well, no, you mistreat their kids. They just saw that the other kids in the household being mistreated that way.
Right.
Okay.
And they're not used to that. That's traumatizing to a kid. But Robert says, remember, you have angry parents. So that's why some of these kids are so angry. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Kids feed off of their parents' feelings and emotions. Yeah. So
that's all they know.
I'm with the rest of them. No, if a guy is telling me up front, hey, I'm used to women taking care of me, you can't go into the relationship and later on down the line saying, oh, you're hurting me because this and the other, and you won't get a job. Well, you knew up front, I'm looking for somebody who's going to take care of me. So bye, baby.
Exactly. I would be like, oh, really? I'd be like, okay.
Bye.
See you.
You say you just turn
you need
ice
to go
cold.
find somebody. You need to go find somebody that's going to take care of you.
Absolutely.
Just turn ice cold. Just turn ice cold and walk out the door. It ain't even winter time. It's icicles falling from the sky.
Falling from the sky on top of his head. So that leads to the next question. Can you teach someone to love you the way you want to be loved? Can you teach someone that?
No.
No.
So you don't believe that
Unless it's a dog.
That's man's best friend.
Yeah, you're right. Dog loves you no matter what. But a person that doesn't love themselves is incapable of loving someone else.
Right.
Hold on. Read that question one more time.
Yeah, that's really not what the question said, though.
Right.
It said,
I'm like, I missed it.
Can you teach someone to love you the way you want to be loved? So it's not saying that they don't love themselves.
No, I don't think they could. I don't think you can because
that's what I was answering.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Moby.
I don't think you can because I mean, if the relationship is growing and evolving, and you guys were attracted to each other for one reason or another, and you had a conversation going, I mean, if the love developed out of that versus forcing somebody or trying to trick them into loving you, ain't gonna last that long.
Kevin, what were you saying? Because you just
what I was saying the same. I understood the question when she said, "Can you teach someone to love you on the same level you love yourself?" And I said, "No,
you got to love yourself first."
No, because what's got to happen is if that person has a different view on the emotion called love, and you guys don't align, that person is never going to be open to a different conversation based on the conversation that's currently playing in the back of their head. So that the answer is no. In order for someone to understand how you need to be loved, they have to be open and receptive to what your love language is.
Conversation.
Okay, so you two just answered the question a little strange. Okay, so let me give the interpretation. Gina, are you seeing it different too?
I am, but
okay. So the question was
different than what I am.
Right. The question was, can you teach someone how? Say that one more time.
The question is, can you teach someone to love you the way that you want to be loved? So they may be loving you in a different way, but you feel like that's not your love language. This is not my love language. Can you teach them your love language?
And I believe that you can.
I believe
because
so
we
too.
are
Explain yourself.
we've all had different types of relationships. So you might have been in a relationship previously with someone, let's say, that was the type that was more standoffish, kind of like, but I'm more of a cuddler, like going back to the love languages or something like that. So because of the previous relationship, you're used to, okay, well, she didn't like to cuddle, she didn't like PDA, the previous person, whatever. So you're coming into this relationship, well, I don't know how Marcy is, but because of the previous relationship, I don't want to hold a hand because this one was, messed up. You're not messed up, but didn't like it and stuff like that. But then I'm the opposite of that. So as you get to know each other, you get to learn the likes and dislikes of the new person. And so I feel that you can teach them. I like to cuddle. So you're teaching them, okay, this is something that Marcy likes to do. Marcy likes to do this. Marcy likes to do that, or Kevin likes to do this, or Maurice or Gina. So I think you can kind of teach them to love you in the way that you like to be loved.
Well, I just want to say this to our listeners, especially for our male listeners. There's a reason why both me and Mo B had this stupid look on our face when this question was proposed to us. It's because no matter how we were going to answer this question, neither one of them, based on the interpretation and perception of what we thought we said, they're going to tell us what we should be saying.
No, we're not telling you what you should be saying. You interpreted the question wrong.
No, I think both Moby and I both answered the question right. Because let me tell you, the only way a man is going to make some adjustments if he can justify making the adjustments to feel a different way or treat you a different way. The way that you just proposed the question, I don't know about Mo, but confused the hell out of me.
No, you and Mo B confused me and Gina because we're looking like, wait a minute.
You know what? I just think men and women are going to think about this question much differently. That's what I think.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you, when you get two men that have that look like the headlights have been shining in their face, we're lost.
Because I was confused. I was like, what
Byron said,
let me ask a question.
Byron said it's too difficult and usually not worth the trouble.
That's confusion being interpreted.
Now, Greg is agreeing with us.
Yes, it's all in the process. If they are willing to learn, it could probably be the best relationship you ever had.
Exactly. Dang, I'm agreeing with Greg.
Right.
I think I'm gonna be
But Brenda agreed with Kevin. She said, nope, right, Kevin.
That's why I love Brenda.
And she said, you can show them. So she's saying that you can then.
Yep, but a man's got to be open to interpretation.
Cracking up.
And then she also asks, are they going to be receptive?
Right.
That's what I just said.
That's a big one.
She understands. Hey, Marcella, pay attention to Brenda. She knows what she's talking
Communication
about.
is
Marcella
the
knows what
key.
she's talking about too, boo-boo.
Y'all, communication is the key. And like I said earlier,
hey Mo, we were winning. Don't say anymore. We were winning.
Okay.
Gina, he think they were winning. See, that's a man right there.
That he did. They really did. And,
Okay.
and you know what? In their
They
mind,
confused the crap
we
out
are
of me.
absolutely
Kevin,
wrong.
okay.
We are wrong in their mind. But you know what?
I'm not saying y'all wrong. What I'm saying is there's definitely something to be said about loving yourself before. You know what I mean? You have to love yourself in order for somebody,
Absolutely.
But that
comes within the conversation.
And let's read before I move on, because I want to take a little time for something today. Robert says, hey, Kev, it's like Venus and Mars, guys.
Hey,
He's comparing us to
I
Venus.
just want to tell you, that book, Venus and Mars went off and married Jupiter.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get this wrong, but Greg said Kevin and Mo are regular noobers. Oh my gosh! Once I read it, I knew what he said.
He
You
just
walked
took
right
my
into that one, Gina.
he just took my
Regular
ammo and said it.
knuckles.
Just regular knuckles. Hey,
Oh my!
ain't nothing wrong with being a regular king.
There you go.
Woo! That was so
On a
true right there.
serious note, you guys, I want to take some
Mhm.
time because today is the day that Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated.
Mhm.
April
Hmm.
4th, 1968.
1968,
And I
Memphis,
want to make sure
Tennessee.
everyone takes time out because we celebrate Martin Luther King birthday. And I think that's as far as it goes. There's
Mhm.
nothing else talked about. You know, we take a day off of work and we're happy we got another holiday off. But we never hear much about this day today. So I just
No,
want to
the
give a
actual day.
little a little background on that, and I'm sure a lot of this information, a lot of you already know, and you may want to chime in as well because there may be, maybe I'm sure a lot of information we don't know because so much
Mhm.
stuff was covered up, so much stuff behind the scenes. But
Mhm.
during King's funeral, a recording was played of how he wanted to be remembered. And it said, I'd like somebody to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. So
Mm.
when I read this made me think about this man knew that he had a target on his back.
Sure
And
he
Mhm.
did.
even though he had that target on his back, he continued to push his agenda. It didn't stop him. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid of what may happen to him. He probably knew every day this day could be my last day.
Mhm.
And he prepared for that. He recorded this this recording to be played at his funeral. That's
And
preparation.
you
That
have to
is.
look at the fact that the way that he lived, to have his house with his family, torch while him and his children slept was not the first assassination attempt.
Mm.
And if our U.S. government wants to claim innocent on his assassination, I was a shame on you for hiding the truth, because we know what happened. You keep silencing the voice of the people because you're afraid of the conversation that we're having right now. We cannot be free until we share this country that's supposed to be the land of the brave on an
Mhm.
equal platform, at least equal for what we can do today. And so this man has to be remembered, and how we can remember is carrying on his legacy in a way that it could be respectful, that we can be proud as a people,
Mhm.
as a melanated people, to say we have to do our part to make this country great. When we talk about making this country great again, they don't understand. We made this country what it
Period.
is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Well,
And
I mean,
he go ahead, Moby.
and going and on the heels of Kevin there, like he said, until that is addressed, that we share this country equally, there's always going to be some issues. There's always going to be what they call racism. I call culturalism. Um,
Mhm.
the it's going to be problems. I mean, because a lot of people don't want to talk about it. They want to sweep it under the rug and keep it quiet. They don't want to
Mhm.
say anything about it because they want it to slowly go away. But until the conversation is had about what Black folks have been through in this country, for real, not the stuff that's made up, not no Jesse Smollett stuff, but I'm talking about what we've been through, what we've been through. I mean, everything from buying a house to insurance. I mean, back in the '60s, these people paying insurance just like white people, even better, and they didn't get half the service. And these folks, these companies that took advantage of them, ought to pay. Period. I mean, even now in Louisiana, when Katrina happened, some of those people that had, I'm not going to mention the company, had a certain insurance company that didn't pay those premiums. They didn't pay out. You're muted, Gina. You're muted, Gina.
What Greg was saying was his last speech was indicative of his knowledge that he was
Mm,
living his last days. When
yeah.
he said, I may not get there with you, he already knew his days were numbered.
Yes. And he
Okay.
Mhm.
was he was in Memphis, Tennessee that day.
Yeah.
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 Um he was there for a march that was on behalf of the striking sanitation workers.
Yeah, let's say
He was there
garbage
for
man
that, and he stepped out on the balcony of his room
on his way
to
to a
on his way to dinner, and he stepped out on the balcony to speak to it was a group there.
Young. I think it was Andrew Young, wasn't it?
It was the Southern Christian
Baptist Christian something.
conference, some type of conference. They were out there in the parking lot, and he
Mm.
stepped out on the balcony to speak to them, and that's when he got the shot.
Wow.
That's when that sniper came out. And it's still, I mean, even with that, there's still doubt that the person who went to jail for that really did it.
No,
There's
he
still
did.
questions about it.
And that's the reason why when you're a young person, you're sitting down that stoop and you're contemplating the trajectory of your life or taking someone else's life. I want you to remember who gave up their life for you to have the opportunity to sit freely on that porch step. Do not make that decision to take someone else's life because you have no idea how it's going to impact someone else's life. The King family gave the ultimate sacrifice for us to have a better life.
Yeah.
Stop taking our young talent off this planet based on a corner, a street corner
that you don't own.
That you don't own. And you don't even own a house on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know? But Greg says these were the people that were in attendance: Jesse Jackson, Andrew Young, Ralph Abernathy. Don't forget Benjamin Mays, the president of Morehouse. He actually delivered the eulogy.
Yeah.
He actually delivered the eulogy.
But in all being said, I mean, it's not just melanated people that jumped in that fight. There were Jews. And there were there's a bunch of other folks that we have to give credit to. I mean,
that's where the Rainbow Coalition came from.
Exactly.
That's that was at the Lorraine Motel, right?
Yes.
Lorraine Motel,
Memphis, right?
in Memphis, Tennessee.
I did a tour.
Yeah,
and
that's eerie.
It was
eerie.
It was
It was
really. I don't know why, but empathy for a lot of things, and it was like as I walked through, I had to leave because it was like I felt
exactly.
It felt all of that.
There's a lot of pain in that place.
Yeah. Whoo! It was like I was there when it happened, and I couldn't handle it. I had to leave. It's interesting because to me it's still something there.
You think about the two people that are still alive that was with him that day.
Oh my God!
Two of the people that are still alive. Two of the people, Andrew Young
they have
and Jesse Jackson.
To carry that burden.
Man,
they have to carry that burden. But you know what? I keep asking. On April 8th, there was a march in honor of King and in support of the sanitation workers by his wife. But why did that stop? Why isn't that taking place every April 8th of every year? I would think that would carry on year after year after year.
You still have some of those people, some of the folks that, well, either that or relatives of some of the folks, or people that try to stop Black folks from doing just living, just surviving. So you got a lot of folks that don't want to. First of all, they don't want to mention it no more because they feel like they don't have nothing to do with it. Technically, indirectly, not. But in the same breath, you got to say, hold on, you'll get personal gains from what happened back then. The Black folks,
my gosh,
are just
that is exactly Robert's quote. What you're just saying.
Yeah, the personal gains from folks back there in the back. Man, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, we have made millionaires. A lot of folks like that, millionaires, off of stuff that they stole.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well,
and then you want to erase us out of the history that we invented it or made it. Why the hell aren't we as mad as Martin Luther King was?
Well, and that's the reason why when you say why you don't hear about that, John Lewis, my fraternity brother, that passed away last year, sitting in some good trouble. You look at the fact that they ripped off Aunt Jemima. Instead of paying that family, they decide to rebrand it and excuse it, and we still buy the product.
Yeah,
we as melanated people, as Black people, Hispanic people, Jewish people, and whatever, we do not realize how powerful we are if we change the direction of our dollar to the people that oppress us, away from them. the education that we're trying to share with them will soon be applied.
Yeah. I agree with Greg where he says this is why we have to continue to push the narrative that we as a people have to stick together. We just had a major mishap with the Oscar situation. It was not a part of his dream. We must remember.
Yeah, that was a big mark. Yeah,
what he died for, equality and justice for us. It's necessary for us to hold each other up.
without a
And,
doubt.
and that's something that, like we all were saying, we think that it's something that happened back then. A lot of this stuff is still happening. It's happening every single day. And we have to stop putting our heads in the sand. If it's not directly affecting me, and in essence, it is affecting you and your household, because everything that's happening to the Black, brown community is affecting all of us. And if we don't, like Greg said, we get united, we keep pushing, we keep these things out here in the forefront and stop allowing others to tell us what they don't want to hear, because, meaning the truth.
Right.
Critical race theory and all of this stuff. You don't want to hear the truth because you already have your history books out here that are not fully true.
Well, miswritten
That's
and everything.
crap. That is
erasing us out.
And
get it out here, and we need to continue to fight. We need to stick together, and we need to figure out together how and what all we need to continue to do to continue the fight that's going on, because it's crazy that here in 2022, we're still fighting for the same dumb, stupid
Exactly what I was going to say. It's crazy that a woman that's very well qualified to do this job, more qualified than everybody on that freaking bench, and they're giving her hell for it.
Well, that's the reason why.
Ted
Cruz needs to experience an Oscar moment.
You take somebody like Kavanaugh, who's done blackfaced himself, and always badger black folks, and you put him, you express lane his ass, So,
well, you have to look at it this way: the conversation we're having tonight on Dope Living TV, it's another relationship on humanity. We are talking about relationship. In 1968, if we had this avenue form right now, we would all be victims to having our lives taken from us just for having this conversation. So we do have a level of freedom, because now we're impacting. For the people that are listening to us, we had a lot of laughs tonight, but I want you to take this to a heart. For us to have the freedom to have this conversation, someone else gave the ultimate sacrifice for us to have this freedom.
Without a doubt.
So do not take tomorrow or the next moment for granted, and do something that makes life better, not only for yourself, but for someone else.
Robert says, we as a people must learn how to control our money, be the kings and queens that God put us on this earth to be. Family.
True that.
Truth. And something that I don't know if we said at the beginning, but the views expressed here on Dope Living Live TV are not necessarily the views of those our affiliates.
Well,
but this is my view tonight.
Yes, and mine is ours.
Absolutely. And you know what? The fact that what happened in the Oscars this close to history from 1968, that bothers me. Where this should have been another step where we made progress. We were highlighted in so many different ways. And guess what?
We got to ask you.
How many people knew that Samuel Jackson got an award?
I knew it.
Somebody told me that, I was like, man, I missed that. We were so
You
busy
missed a lot of it.
But Gina, they didn't show you the other stuff after the Oscars. Will Smith actually went up to Chris Rock and apologized.
I understand that. I understand that, Moby. But my point being is the whole focal point was taken away on something that was history making.
Yes.
I agree.
Let me, Dr. Martin Luther King said, do not allow any man or woman to bring you so low that you hate.
Yeah.
And Brenda says the white hoods and some police are sitting back and watching the black on black crime. They didn't succeed with the drugs, so they say, let them kill one another. Now,
Indiana.
In Indiana, you don't have to have a gun permit. Absolutely, you don't.
Correct.
You don't.
Tennessee neither.
Yeah, there are other states like that as well.
So that's
And you can
more
carry
freedom
it
for
on your
crime.
person.
That's more freedom for crime.
Yeah, and from what I've been saying, for the states that have that in order, crime has risen.
Well, they complain about a 25% rise here. And they're trying to cover that up. You know, that's what's so crazy is they're trying to put it, because this is the entertainment capital of the U.S. right now. You know, it's a lot of stuff happening in Nashville. And so what they're trying to do is kind of put a blanket over there in the corner that it's happening at. So, I mean,
well, you know what? We talked
it
about
is what it is, but
we
did.
We have a lot to talk about.
We
Don
talked about
Staley.
relationships. We gave some laughs. We gave, our points of views. We gave our experiences, and we talked about something that needed to be talked about today, and that was the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. This is history. This is something that changed, pushed us forward in a lot of ways. Now, what we do with it is what we do with it. It's up to us. But the doors open and the gates open for us for change. And so we have to keep rallying and pushing and making positive change. Even amongst all of this that's going on, we still have to make that positive change. I always say, if you can make a little change in the small corner that you're in, it makes a difference, because if all of us do that, it's going to be a bigger change.
Yes.
Through that.
So, Marcy, let's go ahead, since you're right next to me, and give your closing remarks.
Okay, my closing remarks are start loving each other. Give love. Stop fighting. Stop backbiting. If instead of saying something negative about someone, look at that person and find something positive. There's something positive about everyone, no matter what. And let's just bring more love into the world.
Absolutely. Kevin?
I just want to thank everyone for riding with us tonight. Hopefully that 30 seconds of something we've shared impact you in a way to make you feel different, if not within yourself, but the way you look at other people. You know, tear down the biases on your own people, support your people, have conversations that with people that are sometimes uncomfortable, so you can understand why people feel the way they do. It just takes way too much energy to hate someone and not know why.
Absolutely.
That it does. Just remember to love and communicate. That is very important in no matter what kind of relationship you are. Loving and communication will help you out 110%.
Well, our very own Greg Gray says, I'm Gumby, damn it.
Damn it.
And LaDonna says, this is a good show. Thanks for lending yourselves. We must rise up as a collective, healed, whole people. I like that.
True.
Amen.
Well, tomorrow we are going to have TikTok Tuesday.
Woo-wee!
TikTok. So tune in tomorrow. Again, some of those TikToks can teach you things. And I think that's what TikTok was created for. I think it was more created for learning more so than what it's being used for at this point. Yeah. People are putting all kind of things on TikTok, challenges, things you have to be very careful of, and make sure you're getting the information and getting correct information. Monitor your children on TikTok. Make sure that, they're not following these challenges. Some of them can be very deadly. But tomorrow we're going to use it to entertain, so we can laugh and bring you guys out of your norm, your work headspace, and just give you some laughs. Thank you, Brenda. Brenda said, good show tonight. Good night.
Good night, Brenda.
Robert says, keep up the good work, guys. We are all family. Yes, we are, baby.
Robert.
Yes, absolutely.
So tune in tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to have some good laughs for you guys, and we're going to have a good time, because we all are family. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your love and support.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Peace.
Good night.
Thank you.